My name is Lauren, and I'm almost 21. Right now, I'm in the middle of finals week at college, where I study finance. It's a hard subject, but I've always been good with numbers. As I sit in my dorm room, surrounded by books and empty coffee cups, I keep thinking about my upcoming birthday. My family is planning to celebrate once my exams are over. But family celebrations don't always make me happy. Growing up, I felt like the black sheep. My older sister, Julie, is 26 now. She was always the favorite. My parents gave her all their attention, and I was just there. I remember when she turned 14. They threw her a huge party with a bouncy castle, a magician, and a giant cake. I thought my birthday would be just as special. But when my birthday came a few months later, all I got was a small cake from the grocery store and a pair of socks. I try not to cry, but I couldn't help it. My mom just patted my head and said, "Don't be dramatic, Lauren. It's just a birthday." That's when I realized I didn't matter as much. As I got older, that feeling only grew. Julie got a new phone every year, while I got her old ones. She wore designer clothes, while I got her hand-me-downs. When she graduated high school, my parents bought her a car. When I graduated, they gave me a gift card to a bookstore. But my grandmother is different. She has always made me feel special. When I told her I wanted to study finance, she was so happy. "You have a good head on your shoulders, Lauren," she said. "You'll go far." Now, she's the one planning my birthday celebration. She even gave my parents a few $1,000s to make it happen. I couldn't believe it when I found out. My parents usually ignore my birthdays, barely putting in any effort. But this time, they didn't argue with Grandma. They just took the money she gave them and told me to focus on my exams. I overheard Julie throwing a fit about it. "Why does she get a big party?" she whined. "I could use that money for a trip I've been wanting to take." Grandma wasn't having any of it. "Hush now, Julie. Everyone spoils you enough as it is. Didn't I just give you 10 grand for rent? And yet, you're still living at home." That shut Julie up really quick. I couldn't help but feel a little satisfied. For once, something was about me. But first, I had to get through my last exam. So here I am, cramming like my life depends on it. The moment I finish, I'll finally be free. Free to celebrate, free to feel special for once. The last exam. The next day, as I walked out of the exam hall, it felt like a giant weight had been lifted off my shoulders. My classmates were already buzzing about their summer plans. Internships, vacations, road trips. But all I could think about was my birthday. On my way back to my dorm, my phone kept buzzing with messages. My college friends were sending early birthday wishes, knowing I'd be heading home soon. It felt nice to be remembered, even if we had only known each other for a couple of years. "Happy almost birthday, Lauren," my roommate Helen called out as I stepped inside our shared space. "You ready for the big family gathering?" I forced a smile. "Yeah, should be interesting." Helen raised an eyebrow. "You don't sound too excited. Everything okay?" I sighed and flopped onto my bed. It's just my family. They're not exactly the warm and loving type, especially toward me. "But your grandma organized everything, right? That's got to count for something." I nodded. "Yeah, Grandma's always been different. She actually seems to like me." The trip home. As I packed my bag for the trip home, I felt a strange mix of emotions, hope and dread tangled together in my stomach. Hope that, for once, my birthday would feel special. Dread that somehow it would all go wrong. The bus ride home felt longer than usual. My mind wouldn't stop racing. Would the house be decorated? Would there be a cake? Would my parents actually look happy to see me? I stared out the window, watching the scenery blur past, my heart pounding a little faster with every mile. No matter how much I tried to prepare myself, I knew one thing for sure. This birthday would be different. Whether that was a good thing or not, I was about to find out. I walked up the driveway and took a deep breath. The house looked the same as always. No balloons, no decorations. Nothing that said a party was about to happen. But maybe they had set everything up inside. I tried to stay positive. I opened the front door and called out, "Mom? Dad? I'm home." Silence. It was too quiet for a house that was supposed to be getting ready for a birthday party. My heart sank a little, but I pushed the thought away. Maybe they were just waiting to surprise me. I dropped my backpack by the door and walked into the living room. My parents were sitting on the couch, looking uncomfortable. Something felt off. There were no decorations, no signs of a party at all. Hi, I said, feeling confused. Where's all the birthday stuff? My parents exchanged a look that made my stomach twist. My dad cleared his throat. About that, Lauren, his voice sounded distant, cold. We decided not to have the party. I blinked. Maybe I misheard him.
What?
But Grandma gave you money for it. My mom spoke up, cutting me off. We gave the money to Julie for her trip. For a second, I thought I'd imagined it. But then the words sank in. You what? My voice shook. Julie and her boyfriend flew to Boston a couple of days ago. My mom added casually, like it was no big deal. I felt like the air had been knocked out of me. My eyes burned with tears. But that money was for my birthday. Grandma gave it to you for me. My dad shrugged, still not looking at me. Julie needed a vacation. You understand, don't you? My hands clenched into fists. Understand? And oh, I don't understand. It was supposed to be my birthday party. I invited people. What am I supposed to tell them? My mom waved a hand, like it was nothing. We already handled it. We called everyone and told them you were struggling with college, so the party was canceled. I stared at her, my shock turning into pure anger. You lied? You made me look pathetic instead of just telling the truth. My dad's expression hardened. That's enough, Lauren. You need to stop being so selfish. I let out a bitter laugh. Selfish? How am I selfish? It was my birthday. My party. Just then the front door opened. My heart leaped. Was Julie back early? Was she feeling guilty?
But no.
It was Grandma. She stepped inside, her sharp eyes scanning the room. Something about her expression made my parents freeze. What's going on here? She asked, her voice firm. Where's the party? I looked at my parents, waiting for them to explain themselves. They hesitated, fumbling for words. And that's when something inside me snapped. I turned to Grandma, my voice shaking with anger. There is no party. They gave the money to Julie for a trip to Boston instead, I said, my voice shaking. I had never seen my grandmother look the way she did at that moment. Her face was filled with anger and disappointment, both aimed directly at my parents. Is this true? She demanded. My parents wouldn't even look at her. Their silence said it all. Grandma turned to me, her expression softening. Lauren, dear, go pack your things. You're coming with me. I didn't need to be told twice. I rushed upstairs, throwing clothes into my backpack as fast as I could. While I packed, I could hear Grandma's voice downstairs, low and angry as she spoke to my parents. I couldn't make out the words, but I didn't need to. The tone said everything. When I came back downstairs, Grandma was waiting by the door. She didn't say another word to my parents. Neither did I. We just walked out and got into her car. As we drove away, the tears finally spilled over. It wasn't just about the party. It was years, 21 years, of feeling unloved, unwanted, and invisible. Grandma reached over and patted my hand. Her voice was gentle, but strong. Don't you worry, dear. We'll sort this out. You deserve better than this. And it's time someone showed you that. A real celebration. She drove us to her house, a beautiful 2-story home on the edge of town. As we pulled into the driveway, she turned to me with a determined look. This might not be the party you were expecting, Lauren, but we're going to celebrate your birthday the right way. Once inside, Grandma wasted no time. She grabbed her phone and, to my amazement, started ordering what sounded like enough food to feed an entire army. Rush delivery, she added before hanging up. She turned to me with a wink. Hope you're hungry. We've got a feast coming our way. As we waited, Grandma bustled around the kitchen, pulling out her best plates and silverware. I offered to help, but she waved me away. It's your birthday, dear. You just relax. So, I sat at the kitchen table, watching her move around. For the first time in a long time, I felt cared for. But no matter how much I tried to push it away, a question kept sitting heavy in my chest. Finally, I couldn't hold it in anymore. Grandma? I asked quietly.
Why?
Why don't they love me? She froze for a moment, then turned to me, a deep sadness in her eyes. It looked like she was struggling with something inside. After a long pause, she sighed and sat down across from me, reaching for my hand. "Oh, Lauren," she said softly. "I suppose it's time you knew the truth." My heart pounded. The truth? About what? Grandma took a deep breath, as if preparing herself. Then she looked me straight in the eye and said the words that changed everything. "Your parents, they didn't want you to be born." It felt like the air had been knocked out of my lungs. It felt like I had been punched. "What?" I whispered. "They thought Julie was enough?" Grandma nodded, her voice gentle but firm.
Yes.
"But I convinced them to have you. Your mother had a difficult pregnancy, and your birth was complicated. She almost died." Tears welled up in my eyes. So it's my fault?" "No," Grandma said sharply. "Absolutely not, Lauren. These things happen sometimes. It was never your fault. But my mother had avoided me ever since. And my father and Julie had just followed her lead." I sat there, stunned. I had always known something was wrong, but I had never imagined this. Before I could say anything else, the doorbell rang. Our food had arrived. Grandma went to get it, while I sat there, trying to process everything I had just learned. A birthday to remember. The next few hours passed in a blur. Grandma and I ate our way through an absurd amount of food. She told me stories from her youth, making me laugh even as my heart felt heavy. As the night went on, I found myself relaxing, truly enjoying my birthday for the first time in years. By the time we finished the last slice of cake, Grandma's phone rang. She glanced at the screen, then back at me with a mischievous glint in her eye. "It's your sister," she said. "Shall we see what she has to say?" Curiosity got the better of me. I nodded. Grandma put the phone on speaker. "Hello." Julie's panicked voice came through. "Grandma, why is my card blocked? What's going on?" Grandma's voice was calm, almost amused. "Hello, Julie. I see you've discovered that actions have consequences."
What?
"What actions? What are you talking about?" Julie's voice was rising in pitch. "Your behavior and that of your parents has been absolutely shameful," Grandma said firmly. "Taking money meant for your sister's birthday and using it for yourself? That was selfish and cruel. I'm deeply disappointed in you." Silence. Then Julie's voice came back, now filled with anger. "Oh, come on. Mom and Dad did the right thing giving me that money. Lauren doesn't need some big party. You're just a crazy old woman and that's quite enough." Grandma's voice was like steel. "I've heard all I need to hear." And just like that, she hung up. I stared at her, wide-eyed. "Grandma, did you really block her card?" She nodded, a satisfied smile on her face.
I did.
"And your parents' accounts too. It's time they learned to stand on their own 3 feet." As if on cue, the phone started ringing again. This time, it was my parents. Grandma ignored it and turned back to me, completely unfazed. "Now then," she said cheerfully, as if we hadn't just turned my family's world upside down. "How about we plan the rest of your birthday week?" The time I spent with Grandma felt like a dream, a complete opposite of the nightmare my birthday had been. For once, I felt truly loved and appreciated. We went shopping, visited museums, and simply enjoyed each other's company. It was the happiest I had felt in a long time. But all good things must come to an end. Before I knew it, it was time to return to my dorm and focus on my summer classes. Unwanted messages. As I unpacked in my small dorm room, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen and saw a flood of missed calls and messages. From my parents. From Julie. With a sigh, I sat on my bed and started scrolling through them. The first one was from my mom. "Lauren, you need to talk to your grandmother right now. This is unacceptable." Then my dad. "We're your parents. You owe us your loyalty. Make her unblock our accounts." Julie's messages were even worse. "You little brat. Is this what you wanted? To ruin everything for us? We're stuck in Boston because of you. Fix this.
Now.
My hands shook as I read their words. The fact that they were demanding my help after everything they had done was unbelievable. I took a deep breath, then typed a simple response. This is between you and Grandma.
I won't get involved.
Please don't contact me about this again. I hit send. Then, without hesitation, I blocked their numbers. A line crossed. But peace didn't last long. They started calling from different numbers, leaving voicemails filled with demands, guilt trips, and insults. One day, I accidentally answered a call. The moment I heard my mother's voice, I regretted it. "You're ungrateful little trash," she spat. "I should have never given birth to you. I should have had an abortion instead." The words hit like a knife to my chest. That was the last straw. I ended the call and blocked every number they tried to reach me from. Then, I curled up on my bed, tears streaming down my face, my mother's cruel words echoing in my mind. Finding strength. Over the next few weeks, I buried myself in my studies, trying to drown out the pain with textbooks and assignments. I called Grandma often. She was the only one who could calm the storm inside me. "How are you holding up, dear?" she would ask, her voice always warm and full of concern. I would force a small smile and reply, "I'm okay, Grandma. Just focusing on my classes." "That's my girl," she would say, pride in her voice. "Remember, you're stronger than you think. Don't let them get to you." Her words were like a soothing balm on my wounded heart. My parents and Julie had shown their true colors. But Grandma had become my rock. My safe harbor in the storm. A new beginning. It was a crisp autumn day, about 3 months after the birthday disaster. I was walking across campus, my mind occupied with thoughts of an upcoming finance exam, when suddenly, I heard someone call my name. "My name is Lauren." I turned around and froze. Jogging toward me with a $1,000,000 smile was Adam, my sister Julie's boyfriend. The same Adam who had been with her in Boston. He was as handsome as ever, and I couldn't help but notice the way other girls glanced at him as he approached. Before I could react, he pulled me into a hug. I stood there stiff, completely confused. When he finally let go, he was still grinning. "Adam, what are you doing here?" I asked, aware of the curious stares we were attracting. "I was hoping to run into you," he said smoothly. "Can we talk? There's a cafe just off campus." Every instinct told me to say no. But curiosity got the better of me. "Okay, but I can't stay long," I said hesitantly. A shocking confession. We found a quiet corner in the cafe. Adam leaned forward, his expression suddenly serious. "Lauren, I need to tell you something important." I braced myself, expecting news about my family. But what he said next left me completely stunned. "I want to be with you," he blurted out, reaching across the table to take my hand. "I'm going to leave Julie for you." I stared at him, my mouth hanging open.
What?
"Adam, what are you talking about? You're with my sister." He shook his head, his eyes locked onto mine. "I've been in love with you for a long time, Lauren. I only dated Julie to be close to you." I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. My mind raced. None of this made sense. Adam had never shown any interest in me before. In fact, he had barely acknowledged my existence when he was with Julie. Something was definitely off. I decided to play along to see where this was going. Forcing a shy smile, I said, "Wow, Adam, that's really sweet. I had no idea you felt that way." His face lit up, clearly encouraged by my response. "Really?
So what do you think?"
Would you give us a chance?" I pretended to think about it, then nodded slowly.
"This is a lot to take in."
"Can I have some time to think? Maybe we can meet again in a week." Adam eagerly agreed. "Of course. Take all the time you need. I'll wait for you, Lauren." After he left, I stayed at the cafe, sipping my coffee and replaying the conversation in my mind. I couldn't shake the feeling that his sudden declaration of love was somehow connected to Grandma cutting off my family's money.
But how?
And what was Adam hoping to gain? A call from Julie. I had just stepped out of the cafe, my head still spinning, when my phone rang. Julie's name flashed on the screen. With a deep sigh, I answered. You backstabbing little trash. Julie screeched through the speaker. How could you do this to me? I pulled the phone away from my ear, wincing at Julie's yelling. Julie, what the hell are you talking about? Don't play dumb with me, you home-wrecking. I had enough. My patience snapped. Shut up right now and explain what's going on, or I'm hanging up. There was a stunned silence on the other end. Then, Julie's voice came back, shaking with rage. Adam just dumped me. He said he's going to date you instead. How could you? I felt like I had been punched in the stomach. What? Julie, I swear I had no idea. Oh, don't act all innocent, she spat. I bet you're thrilled about this, aren't you? Well, guess what? He's only after you for Grandma's money. My head spun. Grandma's money? What are you talking about? Julie let out a bitter laugh. Oh, you don't know? Well, let me fill you in, little sister. Grandma is cutting Mom, Dad, and me out of her will. She's leaving everything to you. I leaned against a nearby wall, feeling dizzy. But why would she do that? Because she found out about Mom and Dad's little plan, Julie said, her voice dripping with resentment. They tried to have her declared mentally unfit so they could take control of her money. But the old bat caught wind of it somehow. I felt sick. They did what? You heard me, Julie sneered. And now we're all cut off. Except for you, of course, the perfect little princess. The pieces started coming together. So that's why Adam suddenly wants to be with me, because of Grandma's money. Bingo, Julie said mockingly. Give the girl a prize. God, that vile old woman, I hope she… Don't you dare finish that sentence, Julie. My voice was ice cold. I gripped the phone tighter, my anger boiling over. I don't know who's worse, Mom and Dad for trying to steal from Grandma, or Adam for being a gold-digging snake. Julie gasped. How dare you? No, how dare you? I shot back. All of you. You're all despicable. I don't want to talk to you anymore. Don't call me again. I hung up, my hand shaking. Tears stung my eyes, a mix of anger, betrayal, and heartbreak. How could my own family do this? How could they be so cruel? So greedy? With trembling hands, I dialed Grandma's number. She answered right away, her voice warm and calm. Lauren, dear, is everything all right? I took a deep breath. Grandma, I just found out about everything. The inheritance. Mom and Dad trying to declare you incompetent. Is it true? There was a brief pause. Then, to my surprise, Grandma chuckled. Oh, my dear, I was wondering when you'd hear about all that drama. Yes, it's true. She then began telling me the full story, her voice carrying a mix of disappointment and amusement. You should have seen their faces when the commission showed up at my door. I invited them in for tea, Grandma said with a chuckle. Answered all their questions, and even did a few Sudoku puzzles to prove my mind was sharp. I smiled, picturing the scene. So, what happened next? Grandma continued. Well, they left completely satisfied that I was perfectly fine. Your parents' ridiculous claim was rejected, of course. After that, I had no choice but to protect my money and you from their greed. I left them the house. But everything else? That's all going to you, my dear. I felt overwhelmed. Grandma, I don't know what to say. She patted my hand. You don't have to say anything, Lauren. Just promise me you'll use it wisely. One day, I want you to take over the company. Build on what I've created. I swallowed the lump in my throat. I promise, Grandma. I won't let you down. Cutting ties. After that conversation, I threw myself into my studies with more determination than ever. My family, if I could even call them that anymore, became strangers to me. I blocked their numbers. Ignored their messages. I wanted nothing to do with them. They had shown their true colors, and I wasn't going to let them hurt me again. A week later, just as he had promised, Adam showed up again. His confident smile faded when he saw the cold look in my eyes. Lauren, he said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away.
Save it, Adam, I snapped.
I know all about your little plan. You and my sister deserve each other. You're both disgusting and greedy. His fake charm vanished instantly. You're making a big mistake, he sneered. You're a fool to turn me down. I laughed. A guy like you? You mean a gold digger with no morals? No thanks. I think I'll pass. His face twisted in anger, but he had nothing left to say. He stormed off, and I felt a weight lift from my shoulders. I was finally free. Free from the lies. Free from the manipulation. Free from the constant feeling of being unwanted. A new beginning. Over the next few months, Grandma took me under her wing, teaching me everything about running a business. We spent weekends going through financial reports, discussing strategies, and planning for the future. You have a good head for business, Lauren, she would say, smiling proudly. You're going to do great things. For the first time in my life, I felt truly valued, truly loved. The pain of losing my parents and sister was still there, but it was nothing compared to the joy of finally finding my place in the world.